The most offensive mission in Call of Duty history, nay, gaming history.
Remember, no Russian.
Literally every news outlet everywhere had a field day with this one. It's one of the missions in the first act of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It opens up with the player coming out of an elevator and unleashing some of the most offensive and controversial gameplay the series has ever seen. What blows my mind is that the developers knew this and added a disturbing content warning at the beginning of the game before you even play the campaign, which I won't quote because you can read, but basically it tells the player they're going to experience something very disturbing and that they have a choice to skip this mission, and if you would like to, you can. Now, I don't know how many people actually skipped this mission because I don't know if people knew what they were doing at the time, but I'm not a psychologist, but I kind of feel like people who read this were most likely like, nah, I'm going to not be offended because it's Call of Duty and it's full of offensive content. That's just pretty much the name of the game, man.
Remember, no Russian.
Okay, well, hindsight is 2020. Leading to my question, is this offensive? Yeah, it might be. I mean, it literally features the player committing this awful act of mass murder. But the part that kind of gets me is, sometimes at least, is how important this mission is. A, it sets up Makarov's brutality and willingness to set off another world war. B, shows how smart he is to realize Alan is actually an American, and which he uses later on to kick off World War III by killing him. And 3, not to mention how much of a role Shepard had in setting this all up. And 4, MW3, man. Yuri was there. That was one of the biggest twists of the entire game. I mean, if you didn't play this mission, you would have been totally out of the loop. I don't know. It always stuns me how important this mission is, and I'm wondering if someone out there did skip it, because I'm actually kind of curious, how does that actually affect the entirety of the story for you? I just remember as a kid hearing news outlets cover this and pointing out how violent the video games were and how they may have to, tone down the violence, and it was a big thing. It was a massive thing, and even my parents were like, that's a little ridiculous even for us, and I guess it could have a negative impact on players' mindset, which, as someone who's been playing violent video games since, they were 7, and also someone who watched Saving Private Ryan at the age of 7, I'd say I turned out fine for all intents and purposes. This game at least sets the bar a little bit too far, and kind of sets a sort of standard, even with some games now. I feel like in the year 2020, as a guy who doesn't get offended too much, I would say that this is definitely the most offensive mission in gaming history, and again, set a certain bar that has never been matched. Also, this mission at least makes Modern Warfare 2 a little bit more memorable. I mean, it just was amazing. Not for just this mission, for a lot of different aspects, but it does at least add to some of the memory. And there are tons of memes about this mission, and which might go a little too far. Maybe, but I'm not the judge. I'm just the jury, the guy who's a spectator making a decision and really doesn't care. It just kind of in the middle. I mean, it's offensive, I will say that. Just a piece of shit who talks into the abyss. Something of note, by the way, even if you commit some sort of friendly fire on your teammates, it counts as a mission failed, so fuck saving the world and altering the timeline, I guess. So what do you think of No Russian? Was it too far, or was it one of those iconic missions that was over-criticized? Hopefully not that one. I hope you can at least criticize how offensive it was, but still, maybe talk about the impact it had? I don't know, it had a pretty big impact, I guess. Well, thanks for watching, and well, bye.